Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. To start things off, this one's actually a little weird. Blockchain startup known as Blockstack has revealed that the company is in the midst of developing a new distributed ledger protocol called Stacks, a chain that leverages the hash power from the Bitcoin Core network. There's only one Bitcoin, so I don't know why they wrote Bitcoin Core. Not only is the Stacks network secured by over 45 exahash of distributed hash rate, but its consensus algorithm also burns BTC by using a mechanism known as proof of burn. Blockstack, formerly known as One Name, and Stacks lead developer Jude Nelson have published a video that describes a newly designed blockchain consensus algorithm. It utilizes Bitcoin's proof of work alongside the burning of coins, or POB, in order to process blocks on the Stacks chain. Nelson details there are inherent issues with proof of stake consensus model, and the proof of burn consensus mechanism is meant to bootstrap itself from the established hash power stemming from the Bitcoin chain. Over time, the Stacks chain will slowly transition away from Bitcoin's hash power, but using it initially will help curb 51% attacks that have been seen in months with networks that have an extremely low amount of proof of work behind them. I guess here's a little photo of the actual website. Nelson believes it would be better to build on top of the security of BTC rather than trying to mimic its excess. He said instead of expending electrical and blockchain hardware costs, participants in proof of burn consensus do just that. They proverbially burn or destroy their own Bitcoin as the economic cost for their participation. This was explained by Nelson in the video. Every participant competing for the opportunity to write the next block must burn a certain amount of proof of work tokens, or the Bitcoin, to enter the competition. The Blockstack developer continued by stating, he said, a participant's likelihood of winning the competition increases with the percentage of Bitcoin they burn compared to other participants. The competition's winner writes the block, collects transaction fees, and earns the block reward of Stacks tokens. Here's Bitcoin burning in that picture. Stacks won't be the only chain that uses the proof of burn, as Counterparty is known for initiating the process. The protocol that works with Bitcoin Cash chain, Wormhole Cash, also uses a burning mechanism. Nelson's post and a recently published video also explains that the Stacks blockchain has its own memory hard proof of work process, but only 5% is allocated and the other 95% stems from Bitcoin's hash power. The process is tunable so that so without even reading much further, I tried finding more information about this and it didn't get any weirder or odd reading through it. If I understand correctly, and I remember Roger Ver stating something like this, and this is maybe where they were talking about, where's the other thing? Yeah, the other, like the Bitcoin Cash being burned. So the way that I've understood it before in the past, like the simplest answer or logic behind it is that you simply create, this is what I've gotten before. I'm pretty sure there are other ways of doing this, but in order to destroy, air quotes, or burn your coin so that it can't be ever used again, you simply create a new wallet or like a smart contract, and you send your coins to that wallet or smart contract that apparently no one has the password to or the smart keys to. So in essence, you send it to this address and the coins are, in essence, air quotes, destroyed because no one can ever use them again, as there's no password and or private key to be able to unlock these coins. Little weird. First of all, it's kind of cool that they can like leverage the proof of work system for Bitcoin. Kind of interesting. On the other hand, the fact that they're going to essentially be, like I said, maybe there's another way that I'm just not getting it from this moment, but the fact that they are going to destroy Bitcoin that they have in order to be able to continue to participate in the building of the Blockstack blockchain. Kind of interesting. I don't know how big this project is, how large it is going to be, but the fact that this is even happening tells me in my mind that we're probably going to have a couple of other companies who are going to try and mimic exactly what they're doing. The other part of that, I guess, comes down to how much will end up being burned. We just had a video we were talking about that, there are tons of coins out there that can never be recovered because of life and circumstances and stuff like that. So if people are willingly destroying or burning their Bitcoin and sending them to another address where this simply can't be used ever again, this will only increase the scarcity of Bitcoin. Kind of an interesting prospect. I mean, I'm constantly shocked by the things that people come up with every single day in the cryptocurrency space. There was nothing in my head that would have told me that someone would have created a protocol that would allow them to use the hash power from Bitcoin and also burn their Bitcoin. Maybe it's just me. Anyway, I'm going to try and keep relative track of this project. I'm pretty sure we might hear a little bit more, especially if other projects like this end up coming out. But that could be quite interesting, because imagine if we have a situation where we have multiple other projects who are mimicking this and they are maybe gathering up Bitcoin so that they can use them to burn them in order that so they can use them on their own projects. It's kind of weird. Crypto is very odd, but I guess if they're helping to increase the scarcity, then why not? That's probably the only thing that I can really think of saying at the moment. Anyway, yeah, let's move on from this topic. Next up, gonna breeze over this one. Cryptocurrency payment processor CoinGate has added XRP to its platform for merchants. They said this actually a couple of days ago. According to the firm's payment accompanying blog post, using the service, they said XRP coin owners can now use it as a means of payment at more than 4,500 shops online. CoinGate notes that by offering what it defines as the first native XRP payment processing service, it hopes to significantly boost its utility. The company's customers using this service reportedly have the option of instant settlement in euros, Bitcoin, Ethereum, or now in XRP. Apparently launched in 2018. In July, CoinGate launched a pilot program for 100 merchants to test transactions on the Bitcoin Lightning Network version of their service. I remember seeing this like a couple of days ago. I actually thought that I had already spoken about it. I didn't. XRP is actually in the news like every other day, so a lot of times not even joking, I have to double check to see if I already spoke about it, because yeah, they're in the news so frequently. So this is nice to hear. Any time that we get news like this, I like to at least breeze over it, simply because these are going to play, even though CoinGate may not be as large as Coinbase or as Binance, but the fact that they are now in the ecosystem, that they're hopefully that they even add even more coins, this is going to increase liquidity in and out of the market like rapidly. There was something I was listening to about a day or two ago, and this analyst was talking about the future prospects for cryptocurrency and why he thought the space was going to be very bright. He said because the problem that we had in 2017 was that everyone had to throw their money at Coinbase, and then when things were going slow, Coinbase had a lot of problems, so did Kraken. And now we have essentially hundreds of different places where like no one is forced to just use one or two different places. We have almost like the greatest of ease of putting our money into and out of the market, and this will only help all of us into the future, because we won't hopefully fall into any issues where websites or projects that haven't scaled are going to be completely bogged down. You can simply go to another one, because we have hundreds of options to be able to buy and sell these coins. Yeah, let's move on. So this actually happened as well. Like, we were just talking about Iran and Russia and what was the other country we were talking about? Can't remember. About them creating their own cryptocurrency. Apparently there's also another coin that Iran created, and yeah, it says Iran is determined to find a way to prosper amid the unilateral sanctions imposed by the U.S. government, and the political team of Hassan Rouhani, president of the Persian country, is relying on the use of the blockchain technologies as a way to counter U.S. influence in the world of international finance. On the 30th of January, the Iranian government unveiled a gold-backed cryptocurrency. The sovereign stablecoin is known as Payman, Covenant in Persian, and was designed and developed by Kuknos, an Iranian company focused on tokenization of different types of assets. To ensure the proper functioning of the stablecoin as a currency, the Iranian government and Kuknos made alliances with 4 banks: Melat, Meli Iran, Pasargad, and Parsian Bank. Likewise, Iran Farfar Bourse, an over-the-counter trading desk, is expected to be incorporated into the system, thus extending the trading capabilities of this cryptocurrency. Iran's decision comes a few days after the country announced the development of the first draft of regulations on the use, distribution and exchange of cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies. Also, this is the first stablecoin, is like the antechamber to a more ambitious project in which Iran hopes to develop and implement the free circulation of fiat-backed crypto, which can be used by ordinary citizens and banks in financial operations. So the one that they released, rather the one that they announced that they were going to be releasing, was the stablecoin that was going to be backed by their fiat. I can't remember the name of it, and I don't want to missay it, but this is the one that they announced, and apparently they also released one that's backed by their gold. It's the same exact thing that we saw from Venezuela, which is really interesting if you kind of think about it, the fact that they're kind of like mimicking each other. I don't know if it's like a let's do this and see which one ends up working out better kind of thing, but this is kind of, I feel like, the way that it is moving. I wonder exactly how far this is going to go, because just I'll put it to you this way. The sanctions that are happening on these countries around the world, like just because you created a cryptocurrency doesn't mean that the US probably won't try to initiate some type of like trade embargoes and stuff like that. And we also know that what the US has been saying, or before in the past, whenever the US would give a decree and say you can't touch with or mess with that country because I say so, even Europe kind of doesn't care anymore, because they're a continent and they really shouldn't care about what one other country kind of says to them, because they're their own continent. And they noted before during that other economic conference that we saw a couple days ago that they were actually like working with Iran in some sort of way to, I don't think they wholeheartedly accepted it. I don't remember the exact wording of it, but I don't think any time in the near future we're going to see a European country kind of do this. I think because the analysts from Japan and some from Europe have kind of come forward saying, hey, this may not be a good idea. It may actually be more unstable. So when we see exactly how far this builds out, I think this is what I'm most interested in. I want to know, and we have a very, 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 very interesting story that we're going to get to very soon, because it is going to make you question exactly what's happening, because it feels like the way that this is all going. Remember, I told you before that all the economists who were like, the crypto economists who were like, yeah, we're going to eventually get these central bank digital currencies and so on and so forth. We're now getting them. And the second phase of that is that they're not going to work and they're going to break down. But the thing that's very detrimental for them, at least, is if you are trying to make a cryptocurrency or trying to make a crypto anything that is trying to mimic technology that's only around 10 years old, you're trying to mimic Bitcoin in some sort of way, and your coin does not make it, and the people of your country do not want to use it, you can't simply create another one and say, you know what, that one sucked, let's use this one instead. That is the easiest way of kind of saying is like embarrassing. Like, when they do these things, it's meant, like, these coins, keep this in mind, like when you create a new currency, it's meant to be used for at least the next 100 years in your country. If these things break down and don't really work or aren't being used, that'll be a big problem for a lot of people. Like I said, we're going to expand on this in just a little bit because something very weird has happened, but let us move on. Next up, I thought this one was kind of interesting. The MIT Bitcoin Club is a regular annual event for students and blockchain enthusiasts, which is held at MIT. The mission of the event is to improve awareness and the use of digital assets and to create opportunities where participants can study, discuss, and develop blockchain-related ideas, programs, projects, and businesses. The MIT Bitcoin Expo has been in existence since 2014. The two-day conference focuses on all things blockchain. They talk about the only reason why they have this is because of Satoshi Nakamoto, and therefore they essentially honor him and pay homage to him while he is not there. Where's the other important part? The sixth annual Expo will take place on the 9th and 10th of March. That is about good month and some change in 2019 at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology at MIT in Boston, USA. The last year's theme was money, read as not equals fiat, because sure, why not? The event was organized at the end of an unbelievable bull market and just nearly everything was attracted to the blockchain. In 2019, the event plans to dissect the hype and separate it from reality. Bitcoin, which is the first decentralized cryptocurrency, has been in existence for about 10 years at the time of writing. The participants of the event would be interested in knowing what the next 10 years would look like, and also talking about to see where Ethereum succeeded and Bitcoin did not. There was like an actual, the 2019 Bitcoin Expo will look into the present challenges and how they can affect the growth and development of the new ecosystem. 2 months from now, they invite every presented invested interested person to have an open conversation with stakeholders on the ground. Some of the topics to be addressed during the event include scalability, regulatory concerns, UX challenges, token economies, user adoption, vulnerabilities, and solutions currently under development. This is not me promoting it because I don't know the price for this, especially. I'm not partnered with them. I just think things like this are very interesting and very cool because typically we have like very big discussions that end up happening, and sometimes people come forward, and if you're having like scalability discussions, someone typically comes forward and say, well, we have this, and they kind of announce things at these major events, especially because it's also from MIT. So we could get some very interesting information in the cryptocurrency space within the next month. But without further ado, let's move on to the crazy news story for the day. So, yeah, here we go. Venezuela set a new record for the amount it traded for Bitcoin last week, showing cryptocurrencies continued appeal in the face of ongoing political turmoil. Data from CoinGate, which tracks volumes on P2P trading platforms, local Bitcoins, showed that in fiat terms, the 7-day ending on the 2nd of February were the busiest on record for Venezuela. The country's embattled currency, the bolivar, suffers from rampant hyperinflation, with capital controls and a shortage of foreign currency leaving residents with only one choice to secure their wealth: Bitcoin. Even though they also are using Dash, this website is called Bitcoinist, so I'll let them slide with that one. Almost 17.1 billion VES changed hands on local Bitcoin last week, clipping the all-time high by another 1.2 billion from what it was last time. In Bitcoin terms, the period was they traded around 1,972 Bitcoin. Here's an actual chart over here. I actually have it a bit bigger just so you could see where we were. This is 2018, and for some reason, very recently, there was a rapid spike up. The surge in cryptocurrency popularity has not gone unnoticed by authorities. On Monday, the text of a new law regulating the sector, from buying and selling to even how law enforcement can allow itself to confiscate mining equipment, appeared on the country's official gazette. The move gives regulators overarching power concerning cryptocurrency exchanges and other official businesses, but controlling peer-to-peer services such as Finnish local Bitcoins all but impossible. According to the law, those officially flouting or getting around the rules, which also extend to Venezuela's state-issued cryptocurrency, the Petro, can face severe penalties of up to $18,000. This was reported by Crypto Noticias. Here's a photo. Remember what I said before? Okay, remember sometime last year we had a situation where, how do I even begin? The president, that's weird. I'm pretty sure that's him right there. The president announced that they were creating their own cryptocurrency called the Petro that was going to be linked to, I think, gold and petrol. This is thus why the name. And then apparently no one in the country was using it. There were people like going around like with cameras and stuff like that, like news crews. Hey, how's using this cryptocurrency? And no one had heard of it. Apparently, for many things inside the country now, it's mandated that you have to use this. Like I think one of the things is like if you're trying to get a passport to leave the country, you have to use this cryptocurrency. And what's really weird is apparently also the cryptocurrency is also experiencing heavy inflation, and I think he decreed that the price of it was going to go back down so that it didn't appear like it was hyperinflating anymore. And this is why I told you this is interesting over here, because Venezuela, if I'm not mistaken, is the first country to actually do something like this, to create their own cryptocurrency and kind of essentially force it onto their people. And this is why we see this, why this is very significant, why we see this huge spike over here. Because this is around the time, let me see if I can see the dates. Yep, this is around the time when people were starting to be forced or told that they had to do this or use this cryptocurrency to be able to do stuff. So it's not weird or random that this spike is actually happening, and I can only assume how much higher it's going to get because this law just came out. I'm pretty sure today's Monday. It just came out today. The publication quotes the document as saying, and I do quote, "Those who operate or perform any type of activity related to the constitution, issuance, organization, operation, and use of the petro or cryptocurrencies, including mining, without the proper authorization of the governing body and in breach of the other formalities required by the constitutional decree, they will be sanctioned with a fine equivalent to 100 to 300 petro," end quote. Among those in line for such sanctions could be, anyway, someone got in trouble. Not going to go into their personal business. This is worrying for a number of reasons. I found another article about it. Here's the actual official, I think this is the actual decree. This one goes into a bit more detail and is a little worrying because I don't know if you heard what I just said. It has, the reason that I didn't go through this one is because it has like all the articles and all the decrees, and I assumed not everybody wanted the full run through. Part of the problem is that you are apparently now legally required, if you are holding cryptocurrencies, I believe you have to go and alert the government. If you are mining cryptocurrencies, you have to go and alert the government. And there are probably people out there saying, well, if you're mining in your own room or like under something, the government will never know. We've had instances before in history where if you were doing something and your neighbor found out about it, or if your neighbor was told by the government that they would be rewarded for calling you out or getting you in trouble, things like that definitely still happen in the world today. So everything that you do apparently right now has to go through the government. They have to know exactly what you're doing. They have to know exactly how much crypto you're making, how many miners you have. They all have to be registered with the government. And that is not only terrifying, but part of my thought process is maybe through all of this, the sky will get brighter after this event actually ends up happening. And I know that sounds stupid or maybe even a bit cheesy. I mean, as far as the point of Bitcoin is to get away from things like this and to kind of not circumvent. I guess circumvent could be a word that you want to use. Things like this are happening around the world, and we as normal people cannot stop them. So if this situation has to happen, I guess the nicest way of saying it is I would rather it happen now so that governments and countries like this can kind of move forward and kind of get a bit further. Not to get political, I don't think Venezuela is going to get better anytime soon. I assume that within the country, there are tons of people who know exactly what's going on, and this is why I think there's a huge uptick. And that's just from the information that we're getting from local Bitcoins within the country. I'm trying not to get like too deep into the entire topic, but we now have a situation where the first country who created their own cryptocurrency, no one's using the crypto. They're now being forced to use the crypto. And anyone essentially who's using their cryptocurrency or even not using their cryptocurrency and they're using another one and or mining it, you now have to go through all these regulatory loops and jumps and stuff like that. And I assume this is going to happen to a bunch of other countries as well. Only time will tell. It's a bit worrying. I don't really know how to get out of this topic. I feel like I'm like kind of squished into a box because there's so much that I kind of want to say, but for the sake of the channel, as far as like, I try to stay away from politics and I try to not get too deep on certain topics, but I don't think this is going to turn out good economically for the country. And part of the problem is that we're seeing other countries who are also under U.S. sanctions who have before in the past been known to be heavy-handed with their citizens. They're probably going to enact similar laws maybe in 2019 if they end up seeing that in their country that crypto and other currencies are gaining momentum very fast and they can't kind of have control over it. They're probably going to try and shut down these operations and tell people, no, you can't mine, or if you are mining, you have to tell us exactly how much you're getting. Send us your hash rate once a month. It's something completely insane like that. The point is, 2019 is already a very interesting year, and I think it's only going to continue as time ends up going on. Let's hope that we don't have anything catastrophic, but I guess let's hope that within these countries, they continue to find a way to be able to control their own wealth, and that they find a way to not be controlled in a way that they should not be. I will say it that way. To kind of finish things off, prices still trending sideways, not too surprised at that. Seeing a lot of whispers on the interwebs that apparently Bitcoin has already bottomed, that Bitcoin apparently bottomed around the $3,000 price mark, and therefore this is the accumulation phase. You can kind of say that. I mean, everyone has their own theories as to exactly where the price is going to go. Still trending sideways. Tron is always jumping up. It's just a very interesting space. Anyway, I think that is definitely going to do it for this video. Very interesting times in the crypto spot. Wow, that's very bright. Wow, okay. Someone mentioned before in another video, he was like, dude, can you turn your brightness down? It's actually my brightness doesn't affect you, it just affects me. So on your computer, you have to lower your own brightness. If only it worked that way. I'm actually have the brightness pretty low, but the problem is it's getting dark, and there are no lights on here, so it's kind of just burning my eyes. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, having a great morning, having a great evening. Wherever you are, wherever you might be, I hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. They are Vlad the Impaler, Gil Boa Snake, Rai, Brady Nields, L. Doug, Arthur Yaku, Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Nick Mangialavori, Travis Haynes, and Gordon Nikic. Thank you all once again. I do appreciate your incredible generosity. And yeah, I'll talk to you all soon. See you.